Roland Martin lights up Patrick Bet-David. They call him PBD. Okay, so now, what happened on this session? I saw clips. Roland Martin really lighting Patrick Bet-David up. In these clips, Patrick goes on and asks Roland, well, if you care so much about the black community, well, why did you leave the black community? And then, of course, Roland Martin, he's like, wait, what? I need to get you tested for drugs. So they had a debate. Now, when you see that clip, it looks like Roland Martin dragged Patrick Bet-David across the sand, across some coals. That's what it looked like. But for me, whenever I see a clip, it is always my policy. And it's a stern policy. I need to see the video in its entirety, because when you see only part of it, then that means that somebody can spin it whatever way they want. And so then if I come on and speak about it, I'm like, yeah, but I'm speaking on something and I'm really have no knowledge. And this is what I mean when I say we don't want to speak out of ignorance, all right? So that's why, for me, I had to make sure that I took the time, and that was a 2-hour and some odd video, but I need to watch the whole thing in its entirety and take notes, by the way. So I want to go through the video, and then I'm going to give you my take, because the particular person who posted the video, they're saying, Roland Martin won that video, won that debate. And from the looks of that video, it looks like Roland Martin really dragged Patrick across the coals. However, when I went back and looked at it, I saw something a little bit different. And then I'm going to speak on it after we take a look at some of these segments. So let me pull up this first one. And by the way, this was a heated debate. But Patrick he did a very good job of keeping it light, or as light as he could, or bringing it back around to not being so angry. So he did a good job at doing that, but it was a heated debate. So let me start here. All right, so this part is where Patrick is now going into his background. And let's take a look at this.
I'm Middle Eastern, okay? I was born in Iran, 10 years. My mother's a communist, my dad's an imperialist. We escape, we go to Germany. I lived at a refugee camp for 2 years, okay, with people who are Yugoslavian, Czech, Albanian at the time, and they're all leaving for a reason. I come to the States, okay? I'm a welfare baby. I'm a food stamp baby. Okay. Just letting you know, my parents are divorced twice in 20 years. I'm going to Glendale High School. I have a lunch ticket I would sell because I don't have any money. I'm 6'1", 130 pounds. That should tell you the fact that we don't come from a lot of money. One day, I'm in the school, and my teacher starts talking about politics. Up until that point, when I think about politics, all I think about is divorce, because I think about my mom and dad arguing all the time. I don't have a lot of pain linked to politics at the time. And the teacher's going to be a Democrat because she's presenting how rich people are this rich. I'm like, okay, great, rich people are bad. So I come home.
I obviously
13-1. That's the number. That's
dude. I had a whole lot of damn Republican teachers in my life.
Well, I like stats, and the stats are 13-1 is Democrats to Republican. You know the stats. So I come home and I say, Mom, are we Republicans or Democrats? And she said, we're Democrats. I said, tell me why. She says, because the Democrats are for the poor, Republicans are for the rich. So my mom says. You know what I told her? I said, when I grow up, I want to be a Republican. Not because I want to be a Republican. I don't know what the policies are.
So first of all, who's actually for the rich and the poor? Who?
Who is for the rich and the poor?
She said it. She said Republicans are for the rich, Democrats are for the poor. Is that you say you love? Is it true or not?
First of all,
is it true or not?
Whether that's true, statistically, more rich people are on the Democratic side today than the Republican side.
But no. You say who are for, not who's rich, but who are they for the policy?
But Roland, this is you. You're smart.
No, your mom said it.
I understand, but you're a smart guy, bro. Listen, when I watch you, you're not a dummy. You're very smart, okay? So sometimes John Maxwell says something very important that I completely held to myself. And every time I break this, I don't like it. He said, the moment you learn sales and you learn persuasion, Okay? The moment you learn the ability how to persuade, you, me, we learn how to persuade. He says, be very careful to not go one step above that, which is to manipulate just to win all arguments, because you can. You can win any argument if you want to. You can play devil's advocate and flip the argument, play the Republican side, and you make one hell of an argument to beat a Democrat, because you can do that. You have the ability, I have the ability as well. I don't want to do that. What I'm asking you right now is the following. Results. Today,
Yes.
27 out of 30 cities
Yes.
that are ran by Democrats.
So we see both of their backgrounds. Both of them claim that they come from poverty, or neither of them were rich. All right, now I want to get into this clip where everybody's playing it, and they're saying that, Roland rolled over PBD.
Who were middle class, upper middle class, began to move away. What then began to happen was you had areas where poverty increased even more so.
Why move away, though? Why move away?
Because
if you care about the community, why not stay there and change it?
Well, first of all, does anybody else move?
What do you mean?
Who the hell else don't move? How do you think suburbs were created?
But wait a minute.
What do you mean? How do you think white flight was created? So everybody else get to move, but we can't move?
But if you act like you care about the community as much as you do, stay there.
But I'll answer your question. Do you know why? Because when African Americans were living in black neighborhoods, they also had economically depressed housing values, and the reality is they were not able to
change it. Help change it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, hold on.
I'll give you an idea.
Here's the deal.
Are you familiar with Palmdale?
I'm going to need you to be drug tested. Seriously.
Yeah.
Do you even know today, we've done the stories in Florida, when somebody's black selling their house, the appraisers will come in and literally give them a value $100,000 to $300,000 less because they're black? You know that's actually happened, right?
You'll take one story and say that.
Oh, my God.
On how many occasions has that happened?
Are you serious?
Do you think a message like
Okay, why don't you go ahead and Google? Why don't you go ahead and Google?
How many times has that happened? No, I believe it's happened, but how many times has that happened?
The New York Times literally just did a story talking about the systemic racism that exists within housing appraisals. This is a fundamental problem. I'm trying to see, you're living in a different reality.
What progress are you making by saying that?
What progress?
So what you're doing?
I'm trying to end that. Okay. Do you know how inherent? Okay, hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern, right?
You're trying to.
Hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern, right?
I am. Yes.
How would you feel? How would you feel?
Yes.
If you're selling your home, you've got a home that
right,
and you put upgrades in it, and your home is worth $500,000.
Yeah.
And somebody comes into your home, and they see your photos,
right,
and they see your family, and then they go back and they go $350,000. You go, what the hell?
So you tell that story.
Wait, one second.
To get people to be convinced that's happening.
It's actually
out of 1,000 appraisals.
Oh my God.
Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times has that happened? Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times has that happened?
You want to pull that up?
Tell
want
me.
Him to pull that up?
That's your world, though. Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times has that happened? Let's just say it happens.
It is a significant issue in America.
Oh my God!
And wait, one second. And then when the woman, a black person should not have to remove their photos from the wall and remove black art and remove black books to have a white appraiser then come in and go, oh, it's actually $550. One second, because I'm gonna show you how it impacts generationally.
Here we go.
So when you follow me here, because this is housing discrimination in America. When you then get that lower appraisal, you then cannot sell your house for the higher value, which then means you are not then taking those proceeds and being able to invest, being able to send your kids to school. And what I'm trying to explain to you is there is a world out here that for some reason you're like living in Unity world that ain't the real America.
Oh, brother,
I'm trying to get rid of that stuff.
You have the wrong guy here.
I'm trying to get rid of it.
Okay, good for you. I am as well. But you have the wrong guy here. And here's what I mean by that. So when you ask the question, what do you do if they appraise your house $350,000 less, right? That's your question. Okay. I don't see myself as a victim. I stopped looking at myself as a victim a long time ago. And by the way, being Armenian and Assyrian, you know what a lot of people in the Armenian community do? You know what a lot of people in the Armenian community do? They sell victimhood mentality. I'm raised with that, which is the statement of mechka. I know you don't know what the word mechka means. Mechka means, oh, poor Roland, oh, poor PBD. I don't see myself as a victim. And the other part is when you use one story as an example to divide and get people even angrier because out of 1,000 appraisals this happened one time, I don't think you're unifying when you say a statement like that to say, hey, this is what's taking place all the time. But going back to it, so you left because you wanted better economic.
Roland Martin is going to actually pull up information on what he's saying in his whole part. And I want to make this clear. Roland Martin is making a point about there is this racism, or what he calls systematic racism or systemic racism, whereby so-called black people, y'all know how I feel about the word black, y'all know what it means. If you know what it means, put it in the comment section. But it doesn't mean what people think it means. So, but that being said, Roland Martin is constantly speaking about this systematic racism that's going on, and in particular, he brought up the housing community. Now, the problem with this conversation and how just this clip makes Patrick Bet-David look, it makes him look like this rich guy who doesn't care about the poor, and he, as though he doesn't want to acknowledge that there's an issue going on with respect to melanated people. That's why I call my people melanated, with respect to melanated people being preyed on and targeted. Okay, so that's what it looks like from those of us who don't know what the laws are standing back. It looks like Patrick Bet-David doesn't care or doesn't feel like it's real, or oh, it's all in your mind. And now I know something different, because later on in this video, Patrick Bet-David, he pulls up one of the documents that we send you in our law book. Now his is a little bit different, but it's the same principles. The vibratory frequency chart, he pulled this up, all right? What he was trying to say to Roland was that there is something deeper, and it's a mental issue when we're talking about the victimhood situation, all right? So I'm going to go on because I'm going to break this down even deeper, but Roland Martin is presenting facts. And then Patrick Bet-David is speaking on facts as well that Roland Martin is not going to be able to see because there is a victimhood mentality. I'm going to continue. You'll see how Roland Martin does a very good job of bringing in his facts.
Again,
I'm having a hard time listening to what you just said when you're saying
it's so fundamentally flawed, because when you say, oh my God, you see yourself as a victim.
You do.
No.
You're selling it as a victim.
No, I'm not. What I'm selling is a reality. What I'm selling is when this is, again, since you didn't, I guess you couldn't pull it up. Okay.
Oh, he did pull it up.
Okay, the Biden administration, the Federal Housing and Finance Agency, released 47 million appraisal reports to the public for the first time. The appraisals, which were compiled between 2013 and 2021, present evidence of a persistent, widespread practice in the home appraisal industry to give higher values to homes when the occupants are white and devalue them if the owners are people of color.
That's such bullshit. That's such bullshit. You know why?
Hold up. Let
me tell you why that's such bullshit.
They actually took the reports and showed the data, and now you call it bullshit.
Of course I call it bullshit.
So you asked for the data and the facts.
No.
And now you give your opinion because you don't like the facts.
Bro.
Come on, man.
Do you run a company?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so when you run a company, how much shit can I find in the OPEX? How much
in the what?
With OPEX. When I go into my balance sheet and I look at my expenses, my monthly expenses, what I'm paying for, rent, employees, benefits, workers' comp, I can give a number and say, we lost $280,000 this year. And it's like, oh my God, we lost $280,000. And then I open up the balance sheet and then boom, I'll see you're moving your face like you don't know what I'm talking about.
First of all,
when I see a data like this, tell me the whole story. To jump to conclusion with something like this without seeing the entire story It's ludicrous to make a comment like that. But
analyzing the millions of appraisals by using census tracts as a proxy for neighborhoods and comparing communities with nearly identical housing stock, two researchers found that the results showed a clear correlation. The higher the proportion of white residents in each community, the higher the appraised value of individual homes. They compared similar data. See, again, you want to reject the facts. And what I'm trying to explain to you I
am refusing to constantly have people give data without me having access to the entire thing.
All right, so right there where he says, I am refusing to, basically what he's saying, and what it sounds like to those of us listening, is I'm refusing to believe that black people, that's what most people would hear, are really experiencing this. I think the information is fake. That's how he came across. All right. And that's the problem. So when you show just these two little clips that I've shown, which are kind of long, but when you show these two little clips, then it comes across as though Patrick David is saying, I'm not believing that. I don't believe black people going through that. And that's the problem. Now, with that being said, now that we've seen both of those videos, let me give my full take on this. All right. In this room, you had two very big egos. Two very huge egos. And not only was Patrick Bet-David not respecting facts that are being shown, Roland Martin did it too. They both did it. And what's so funny is universal laws. I go through these regularly. They're accusing each other of things, and they doing the same thing. Roland Martin accused him, you don't respect the facts, and I'm showing the facts, and then Patrick would show facts, and Roland Martin wouldn't respect the facts. Then Patrick showed some facts, and he said, Roland, can you agree to this? And Roland would flip-flop and change the subject, and two big old egos. And that's the problem with this whole issue. Why melanated people are still crying about how the Democrats and the Republicans not helping us, because you got all these big old egos and they're not really dealing with the true issue. So when I looked at that one clip, it's going to look like Roland Martin rolled all over him. But then you need to go watch the whole video, because they both flip-flop. Both of them would not respect what facts are. But one of the things with respect to David and Roland, I'm going to tell you like this. They both are right. Both of them are right. Both of them are correct. Because Roland Martin feels like, the black people, we get stuck on, and but he's not saying we. He's talking about those of y'all who still stuck in the Democratic and Republican. What he stated, those were facts.